$50,000 a year. That number sits comfortably above the minimum wage, and it is higher than a lot of entry-level roles. For millions of Australians, it is exactly what they are earning right now. But here is the catch. $50,000 sounds okay on paper, yet many people earning close to that feel like they are going backwards every single month. Today, I am going to show you exactly why. Dollar by dollar, we are breaking down the real numbers behind one of the most common wages in the country right now, the real take-home pay. Let's start with what actually lands in your bank account. A gross wage of $50,000 a year sounds like around $960 a week. But after income tax and the Medicare levy, your real take-home pay drops to around $42,000 a year. That works out to roughly $808 a week hitting your account. From July 1st, 2026, the lowest tax bracket drops from 16% to 15%. Which gives a small boost, but it does not change the bigger picture. You are not working with $50,000. You are working with $42,000. And everything you need to survive has to come out of that number. The rent reality. The biggest cost by far is rent. And in 2026, rents across Australia are still sitting near record highs. In Sydney, the median rent sits around $824 a week. This means renting alone in Sydney on a $50,000 wage is mathematically impossible without a share housing arrangement. The story isn't much better in other capitals. In Brisbane, rents are sitting around $580 a week for a one-bedroom apartment. In Melbourne, it's around $550, and in Adelaide, it's closer to $500. Even in smaller capitals and regional areas, a modest one-bedroom rarely comes under $400 a week anymore. For someone on this wage, a realistic rent after share housing or moving to a more affordable area lands somewhere around $400 to $450 a week. That single cost alone consumes $21,000 to $23,000 a year. That is more than half of your entire take-home pay gone before anything else is paid. Utilities and bills. After rent come the fixed costs that never stop. Electricity, gas, water, and internet. The average Australian household now pays around $400 every 3 months for power, and gas adds roughly another $230. When you factor in water, internet, and a basic phone plan, the real weekly cost to keep a home running sits somewhere between $70 and $90 a week. Over a full year, that adds up to around $4,000 just to keep the lights on and stay connected. Groceries and food. Then there is food. Grocery prices in Australia have become one of the most talked about financial pressures in the country. A single person being incredibly careful can keep their groceries to around $140 to $160 a week. But if you add in a coffee here and there, or a single meal out once a week, the real food budget easily pushes past $180 a week. Over the course of the year, that is more than $9,000 just on eating. The brutal remaining math. So, let's run the numbers that matter most. Take-home pay, $42,000 a year. Rent, $22,000. Bills and utilities, $4,000. Food, $9,000. Together, that is $35,000 consumed by just 3 basic needs. From a take-home pay of $42,000, that leaves you with just $7,000 spread across 52 weeks. That is a brutal $134 a week to cover everything else. Transport, insurance, health costs, clothes, entertainment, savings, and any unexpected emergency. $134 a week is the financial reality for a single person on $50,000 a year in a mid-range Australian city. Transport and hidden weekly cost. Transport alone puts serious pressure on that remaining number. Running a basic car in Australia costs around $150 to $180 a week once fuel, registration, insurance, and servicing are factored in annually. On the other hand, public transport in a major city runs around $40 to $50 a week for a daily commuter. For someone on this wage, the choice between owning a car and using public transport can be worth $5,000 to $7,000 a year in real spending power. The savings reality. So, what is actually possible to save on $50,000 a year in Australia? The honest answer is not much. Without making deliberate, restrictive choices, a person covering average rent, food, bills, and running a car often finishes the week with close to nothing left. But there is a path forward. Someone who shares housing to keep rent under $350 a week, uses public transport instead of a car, and cooks at home most nights can realistically free up $100 to $150 a week. That is $5,000 to $8,000 a year, which, if placed into a high-interest savings account or a low-cost index fund, starts building something real over time. It is tight, but it is not impossible if the right choices are made consistently. The location factor and the path forward, where you live on this wage, matters enormously. Life on $50,000 looks completely different from one postcode to the next. In a regional town or a smaller city, rent drops, housing costs fall, and the same wage gives you genuine breathing room. In inner Sydney or Melbourne, that same wage forces hard choices at every single turn. The two moves that change this equation the most are reducing your housing costs and finding a way to grow your income. Even moving 30 minutes further out can save you $3,000 to $5,000 a year in rent. Furthermore, adding just $5,000 to a $50,000 income lifts your take-home pay by roughly $3,500 after tax. $50,000 a year in Australia in 2026 is not a comfortable wage. But for those who understand the numbers, protect their biggest costs, and give their money somewhere to grow, it can be the starting point of something much better. If this breakdown helped you understand where the money really goes, do me a favor and hit the like button. It helps more Aussies find this content. If you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. And do not forget to turn on notifications so you do not miss the next video. I will see you there.